welcome back. It's so good to see you. So today's video is just going to be, I don't know, like an end of the end of the summer ramble video. Because for me, in a few days, summer is officially over. Yes. I know most people are like, oh no, summer's over. I freaking hate summer, okay? I hate it. It's so hot. It's so hot. But this summer, don't get me wrong, the kids have very much enjoyed their summer break. Let me make sure this is recording. Okay, it is. The kids have very much enjoyed their summer break. We've gone swimming, we've gone to the movies, friends, slumber party, they've enjoyed their summer. Oh, before we get into the video, it's like 5:30 in the morning, so there's no natural light, so I have to have all the lights on in this room, so the lighting is going to be off. But I figured it doesn't matter since it's really kind of just like a ramble video. You could just have me on in the background when you're getting ready for work, when you're eating lunch or dinner, just, So, I'm sorry if the lighting is completely off and terrible. I hate recording without natural light, but this is my record time today. Because I'm busy. But anyway, so the kids, they've enjoyed their summer, but this has been the absolute longest, worst summer ever. Like 2020, like the whole year actually. 2024, I'm just done with it. I'm done. You can go bye-bye. Just. But I am wanting to stay positive, and just blame it on the summer. And because school starts in literally a few days, we're actually meeting the teacher today, taking all the school supplies, everything up to the school. So summer's over, and I'm hoping that once we get back into a routine, things will be better. I'm gonna tell you, I have little notes over here of all the crappy things that has happened to me over the summer. But then we're gonna end it positive, right? Because summer's over. But like I said, this is like the longest. I think the reason why it has been oh god, I'm gonna cough. Hold on. Sorry. Let me make sure I'm still recording. Okay, I am. I think the reason why it's been so long is just because so many like little crappy things have been happening. Just I'm done. Okay, so what are the crappy things that have been happening this summer? Well, it started off even before summer really got going, okay? Something happened at the mid-May, because the kids were still in school, but they only had like 2 weeks left of school, so it was like right at the beginning, Okay, so mid-May, there were no hurricanes or anything like that, but we had like this rainstorm that was just never ending. And it, first of all, it came out of nowhere, okay? Because usually when they say, oh, it's gonna rain, whatever, it's never that bad. This was very, very bad. It was raining. I remember that it was a Thursday. It was a Thursday, because I was dropping the kids off at school, and then I go to Walmart to get like the big stuff, like paper towels, toilet paper, laundry detergent, all that stuff. And then I get groceries on Fridays, because you can't fit all that stuff in one cart. Like, are you crazy? Anyway, so I go to Walmart, get all the stuff, and I come back. And by the time I come back to get into my neighborhood, there are 3 entrances to my neighborhood. There's a front one to the neighborhood, a side one through a second neighborhood, and then another side one that you can get through, come in on the back. So I can always find a way out, you know. So I was going through the side neighborhood, and I was like stuck behind a bus, and like, I don't know, it was raining really bad. And then I was like, okay, bus, hurry up, because it was like making stops and stuff. And I'm like, because the front road of that neighborhood sometimes floods a little, you know, and I hate it. But it's never bad. Well, this one was bad. It was literally like a flash flood, and the water was up on the bus, like, and I was like, oh no, because there was nowhere for me to turn around. The way that road is, there's like no turnaround situation. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was like, just go, bus, go, 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 you know. And that water was very, very high, and I started to panic. If I would have been in my older car, the one that I got before, or the one that I had before the accident, that would have flooded. I would have murdered my car. Like, it wouldn't have made it through that. That's how high it was. And I was just like, oh my God. I was panicking because my house flooded during Hurricane Harvey. And I was like, if this street is that flooded, what does my street look like? Okay. I got to my street and it was fine. It was just some weird flash flood thing in the front of the side neighborhood because it was raining so much so fast. So I was like, okay. But then the rain would not stop. The front of the neighborhood, the front of my neighborhood started flooding. The back started flooding. And I was like, you know what? I need to go get the kids right now because I may not be able to leave. I was just panicking. I would rather have them there with me than them stranded at school and me stranded at the house, you know. So, like I said, it wasn't that bad at the time, but I have PTSD from Hurricane Harvey, you know. So, and I don't even live in a flood zone, like where my house is zoned. It's not a flood zone, but Hurricane Harvey was so bad that it flooded places that aren't in flood zones, you know. Anyway, so I go up to the school and I'm able to grab the kids out, but everyone was in a panic mode because everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is really, really bad. So everyone was trying to get their kids out of school. I finally got them, brought them home. I felt safe. I didn't feel entirely safe because the rain wouldn't stop. It was getting crazy. They were releasing the floodwaters from the lake. And that's what really got me worried, because when they release those floodwaters, that's scary, you know. So anyway, and I was like, I wanted my husband home, you know. I kept looking outside. My husband got home, everything was fine, but I was not okay, and neither was my English neighbor. I'm sure all my neighbors, we all have PTSD, okay? But me and my English neighbor, you know, we're friends, so we were panicking. And that night, I got absolutely no sleep whatsoever, and apparently they didn't either. And I was like, man, we could have had midnight tea together, you know, to like calm our nerves. Anyway, so the next day it got worse. It was so bad that like lots of places started flooding and they canceled school. And I was like, okay, I'm nervous because they were still releasing the floodwaters. So the street behind me is another neighborhood, and they always flood, probably like every other year. I don't know how people can afford to live in that neighborhood, because it floods, and I'm talking up to the roof, because it goes a very deep slope to that neighborhood. I don't know how people can afford to redo their house every other year, you know. But anyway, so I was like, I want to go around the corner to that back road. So me and my husband, we walked over there, and sure enough, there was the river, and I'm like, the river was in the street, in people's yards, slowly coming up, and I'm like, oh God, it's the river. Like, I mean, we still had probably about, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 feet, like, rise before it got to my house. But when that river is on that back road, that means stuff's moving. And so I was like, oh my God. So I was just in full panic mode, and I kept going outside, looking, you know, like what's going on. And then my English neighbor saw it coming up at the end of the turn, and they were like, we're out, I can't stress about this again, we're going to a hotel. So they went to a hotel, and I was like, okay, let me know if I need to move anything, like, you know. And they're like, we've already got all our important stuff with us and everything up on countertops, and, you know, stuff like that, because their house flooded worse than mine. And I was like, all right, well, I'll keep you updated, you know, because I'm not leaving my house, like, no, because I would have to move my entire downstairs up to the second floor, you know. Anyway, so I wasn't leaving, but the whole night I did not sleep, and I just kept looking outside, and it was just rain. And at 5, it was like 5 o'clock in the morning, I was like, I have to go outside. I have to see how far it's coming up our street now, because if it gets past the one stop sign, I'm moving my cars, because my friend, he lives about 10 houses up the street, but his is kind of like on a rise, you know. And I'm like, I have a new car, you know, my husband's company vehicle, like, I just know. So I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I don't wake up, I'm already up, you know. But like, I go downstairs, I go outside, because also the electricity went out, so none of the street lights were on. It was pouring down rain, and it was pitch black, so I couldn't really see where the water was. So I needed to go outside. So I took my umbrella, I went outside, and I looked down there, and I was like, is that, oh my God, that's the river. That's the river. And I was just like, okay. And I had like a little panic mode, obviously, because the lake is released into the river, and then the river, you know, is what floods. I was like, okay, that's the river, so I need to go back inside and wake up my husband, because he has no problem sleeping. Wake him up and tell him that we have got to move our cars to my friend's house. So I turned back around, because I'm standing at the corner, like at the English neighbor's house, with my umbrella, just looking like, oh my gosh. And I'm walking back, and there's a car coming down my street, like, I don't know, maybe going 40. Everyone speeds in the neighborhood, but going 40 in a neighborhood is like not allowed, especially when it's pouring down rain, there's no electricity, and it's pitch black. What are you doing, right? Well, they were going so fast, they drove past me so fast, I said, oh my God, because it was so pitch black, you couldn't see anything, and it was raining. They didn't know that the river was right there. And I literally watched them drive at 40 miles an hour into the river, and then I saw their headlights go down. I freaked out because that's like something that you see in a movie, you know, like it happened so fast, and I was just like, what? So I can't go rescue them because I would die trying to, you know. So I went back into the house and I woke my husband up. I'm like, we have to move our cars, but someone just drove into the river, like, because he was like, what? And I was like, the river is right there. We have to move our cars to my friend's house. And someone just drove. So he's like, he wakes up in a panic, and we go outside. And by the time we got outside, there was already a fire truck, ambulance, rescue boat. So I don't know if their car had like OnStar, or I don't even know if OnStar is still a thing, but I don't know if their car had like one of those, whatever. But apparently the fire department and emergency people were waiting on standby because people are stupid, you know? Like, even if it wasn't raining, even if the electricity wasn't out, why are you driving through a neighborhood at 40 miles an hour? Like, what are you doing, you know? Anyway, they got out, they were safe, but their car was just gone. And I actually talked to the person later on during the day, because everybody kept coming to look at the headlights in the water, like, you know, and I wanted to be so bad, like, what the hell were you thinking? But they were already dealing with it now. I was just like, I felt so bad, and I was just like, thank God that you're all right, you know. But I was just like, ugh. Anyway, so oh, and I do have pictures. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but I will be showing pictures. Hopefully I remember the pictures in the edit. I hope so. But anyway, so the water just kept creeping on up, and it was terrifying. It did eventually stop, probably about 20 to 30, I want to say about 30 feet from my house. Okay, so that was very scary. The rain did stop, but the water kept rising, you know, because they're releasing the floodgates or whatever. But it got very scary, and like, I was talking to my parents and stuff, and my dad, he was like, I saw your house on the news. My house was on the news. So yeah, that was not something that I wanted to happen, but I was very lucky because so many people lost everything again. You know, it just came out of nowhere. And like I said, there was no hurricanes, there was no tornadoes, there was no nothing. It was just a really bad storm that has never happened before. Like, not like that. So that's how our summer started off. So, but again, even though all these things happened, I am very, very lucky, and I am so grateful, because everything could have been worse. It's just, my summer's been very stressful. Okay, so that's how it started off. Then about a week, maybe 2 weeks into summer break, the lights went out. Like, the lights went out totally, and then they came back on, and then they flickered, and then they went off, and then they came back on. And I was like, what just happened? So I called the English neighbors. I'm like, did your light just do like crazy stuff? And he was like, yeah, it did. So I was like, okay, because like, if the internet ever goes down, if the lights do weird stuff, we always call each other just to make sure it's not like something messing up at our house, you know. So I was like, okay, everything's fine. because the lights came back on. It didn't affect the internet, nothing, It was just a real quick thing. Well, that little real quick thing broke my air conditioner. Like, broke it. In the summer in Texas. This is not okay. This is not okay. So I call the AC people. They come out and they're like, whoa, you gotta replace the whole thing. And I was like, what? I was like, isn't there like something that you can do? And they're like, well, we can do this, but that's really not gonna fix it. It could still go back out anytime, and this is going out, this is out, this is broke, blah blah blah. It was a whole, and he was like, you really need a whole new deal. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So he told me how much it cost, and I'm not even gonna say it because I don't want to cry. But so I was like, well, I can't make this decision. Like, I mean, I can make the decision, but I still need to talk to my husband, So I call my husband, and I'm just like terrified that he's going to yell at me. Not yell at me, but yell at the situation because, but he was actually very calm. He was like, we got to quit, like, putting band-aids on it, because it's not like we've been putting band-aids on it, but every year we have them come out to do like a yearly service check, before summer, to make sure everything's all good. And they're always like, oh, this needs to be filled, or you gotta replace this, or blah blah blah, so my husband was like, we gotta quit just patching it and just fix it, and there'll be a 10-year warranty, so if anything ever goes wrong with it, it's on them, so we had to do that. So it's a good thing that me and my husband have perfect credit, because if we didn't, I don't know how we would have taken care of that situation. But now I have a massive monthly bill. Yay. But the AC works fantastic. It's great. Okay, so that happened. And then Hurricane Beryl. Hurricane Beryl was not even supposed to come to Texas. It was supposed to go over Mexico, okay? And it was supposed to be a tropical storm. And then it decided, hey, I wanna mess with Tina. Not really, but I want to mess with Houston and Texas, and so it wasn't even supposed to be a hurricane. It was supposed to be like a tropical storm. It was supposed to go left instead of straight up, but it decided to make a turn, and it ended up hitting us directly, okay? Direct hit. Like I said, I am very, very lucky. And I don't want it to be like I'm complaining, but it was very stressful. A very stressful time. But again, I am very lucky. Very lucky. So nothing really happened to our house. The electricity went out for us. It went out for a little more, like just over 2 days, okay? But you also have to remember, it is the middle of summer. This happened like right after 4th of July. It is the middle of summer, like 105 degrees, maybe more, okay? No electricity for over 2 days. Now, I am very grateful because so many people many people in Houston, the Woodlands, Conroe, Spring, Tomball, Katy, all these places, they were out for some of them 2 to 3 weeks. Weeks. So I am very grateful. Very, very grateful. Does it mean that I had a good time? No. Does it mean that I wasn't stressed? No. I did not have a good time, and I was very stressed. Especially because I was worried about my medication, because my medication has to be refrigerated. It was fine. I had a case with the ice stuff, so it was fine. But it was still scary, and it wasn't fun because my son kept repeating over and over and over, I wish the internet would come back on. I wish the internet. He wasn't even complaining about, man, it's hot, because it was hot. 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 He wanted the internet to come back on so that he could play his games and talk to his friends. And I'm like, David, if you say that one more time, like, I had to ban it. I was like, you're not allowed to say those words anymore. Imagine hearing that repeatedly for 2 days straight. We did play a lot of board games, and we have a lot of board games, thank God. So that was fun. I really did enjoy playing the games, but it was very, we were on energy, no movement, reserves. Like, I was like, I don't want you guys running around and playing. I don't even want you playing with Ava. Everybody just needs to be chill and relax, because there's no way to cool off. Okay? I was actually fine as long as I didn't move a lot. I was fine. My husband was not fine. He cannot handle the heat. So he was very cranky. Very cranky. But I think we handled it pretty well, but like I said, I was very lucky because my mom, she did not have electricity for 7+ days, I think. It might have been more than 7 days, I don't know. But when my electricity came back on, I called her and I was like, come over, because my mom's not old, but she's older. She's retired, and it's like 100+ degrees every day, and I'm like, please come over, please. I even called my in-laws and I was like, come over, because their electricity was out for a very long time as well. But they were okay. They had a generator, and my parents had a generator, but then their generator broke. So then my mom did come over, but just for a little bit, and then like 2 days later, it came back on, I think. But yeah, so we were very lucky because we only had a few shingles come off, and the roof is completely fine. Like, we even went into the attic and looked, and there's nothing, so we haven't replaced them yet, but we will. And then my back fence, the whole back fence was just completely knocked down. But like, it was crazy. There were like trampolines in the street, and I'm like, how did the trampoline get picked up from the backyard and moved to the street? Like, what? Because there were also tornadoes and stuff, It was crazy. But yeah, my mom, on the other hand, oh my God, a tree fell into her house, crashed through the roof and through the wall, and it was just laying in her laundry room / storage room. It's where my brother that was my brother's old room. But like, it went through the roof, through the wall, through the window, through the wall. Like, oh my gosh. And these are like large trees. Because she, like, I mean, I'm talking, they're fat, like, huge trees, okay? And there was another tree in her front yard that was so massive, like hundreds of years old, okay? It had to be. And it's just, it's like one of those trees that's so big, like, I don't even know if I'd be able to hug it, you know? Like, I don't think my fingers would touch. It's huge. This thing came out by the roots. My parents had like this like little gazebo thing that they had built. Or I don't know if it's a gazebo, but whatever. Anyway, and there was a tree right next to it. Well, the roots came out from under the gazebo, and it just fell, and it's covering their entire front yard. And I think my mom's got like 2 or 3 acres. It's covering their entire front yard. Okay. Oh my god. But I'm like, that was terrifying to me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, because the way that it landed, it did not hit the house. But if it would have landed maybe, I don't know, 10, 15 feet in the other direction, like, it could have seriously injured or killed her. Like, seriously. And I was just like, oh my god, like, she's so lucky. She's so lucky, you know? Like, to me, I'm like, you literally almost died, you know? I'm sure she wasn't taking it that seriously, but I did, because that was too close, way too close, you know? They did repair the roof. I think my dad repaired the roof, and then my dad and my uncle, they fixed the window and the wall and stuff, so that's all been fixed, thank god. But that was like crazy scary, and my son was just terrified the whole time, you know. But like I said, I was incredibly lucky that nothing actually too bad happened. Anyway, so then that died down, because the effects of that happened for a couple of weeks. Like, even still today, there's still debris everywhere, trees down, like, it's crazy. People's fences are just completely gone, you know? Like, my daughter's best friend, she was in I think she's in Katy, or maybe Pasadena, I don't know, somewhere in Houston, and she was at her grandma's house, and her whole entire back door was just ripped off and gone. What? Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, that died down, and then, like, 2 weeks ago, my washer broke, and I'm like, no. So me and my husband had to go to Lowe's, and we got a new washer, which I absolutely love, because it like washes the clothes so quick. It, like, I love new things, right? I don't like to pay for new things, because it's a lot of money. Why is everything gotta be breaking down? Ugh. And then, so strange. It was so strange. The other day, I don't know if I was grabbing the trash can or something. I don't know. But, like, we take the trash can out to the street when the garbage people come or whatever, and then I bring it back in and put it in the garage. I went out there, and at the very end of my driveway, just glass everywhere. Like, it's like someone had their car parked at the end of my driveway, and then someone smashed the glass out, and it was just everywhere. Because it was 100% a window. It was a window. And it was just shattered everywhere. So then I had to sweep up all this glass. And I'm like, what is that? Where did that come from? It's like, what? I'm just so confused. That's not something that's like, that happened to me. I had to clean up whatever this was that happened. But it's just like a strange mystery, because now I'm like, what went on in my driveway that I didn't know about? Like, because I was out there earlier that morning and there was no issues. And then, I don't know, 2 hours later, there's glass everywhere. Like, what happened in front of my house? Why didn't I hear it? I mean, because it was like sheet. Like, there were still pieces of it, like, in a sheet. So that's how I know it was like someone's window. But I'm like, what happened? That's just stressing me out, because I have no idea what happened. I mean, I guess I could ask the English neighbors for video footage, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Because it's been a while. It's been about 2 weeks. Yeah, that happened like 2 weeks ago. And I hadn't seen them. And I was like, well, I'll ask them if I see them, but I didn't see them. And then too much time has passed. And I'm like, I'm not going to be like, hey, okay, so 2 weeks ago at this time, can you pull up the footage? Like, I'm not going to do that. But anyway, so the stress of summer is going to be over. No more summer stress, because summer is over. I'm done. I'm done with summer. No more stress. Only good things. Okay? Only good things. Because what do we have to look forward to? The holidays. Oh my God. Because on September 1st, I'm putting up decorations. It is a must. I have to. Because I didn't put up any decorations all summer. Maybe that's why I had a stressful summer, because I was too tired to put up decorations, I usually put up decorations in summer, but this is the one summer that I didn't, just because I was just like, ugh, I just don't want to. I was very exhausted and tired this summer, and I guess it's because of all the stress that I was going through. But like, I was very, very lucky, but that doesn't mean that I didn't stress about all the things, and I had other things stressing me out as well, but these were just the biggest stresses. But school, we're meeting the teacher today. Teachers, my son has 3 teachers. My daughter has 3, but I've only heard from 2, so I'm like, what the hell's up with this 3rd teacher? What's going on? And there are over 1,400 students in the school, in an elementary school that was made for a capacity of 920. They are building another school, but so last year my son was in portables. This year my daughter's in portables, and she's not happy about it. And I don't like the portables either, because they get much hotter for most of the year, and then much colder, in the 2 weeks of winter that we get. But whatever. Now we're going to get back to routine, and I'm not going to stress anymore. No more stress. Only happy thinking. I've already bought 2 Christmas presents, and I'm excited about that. But fall is literally right around the corner, so I'm going to put up those decorations. Happy times. and then Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. So, only good things to look forward to, right? Anyway, I don't know how relaxing the video was, and I'm sure the quality was just trash. But that's what happens when you record at like 5:30 in the morning. Anyway, I really hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.